per 9000's game room.
So I'm pretty sure that most people, if confronted by a SNES gambling game in an indie game store, would most likely turn their nose up at it and simply walk on by. Well, in all honesty, I might have done the same thing, if not for the price tag on the copy I saw. It was £3 for the carton manual, and as I review SNES games, I thought, why the heck not? So Vegas Stakes, which is known as Las Vegas Dream in Japan, was developed by HAL Laboratory. Yes, that HAL, the creators of Kirby, and it was released in 1993 for the Super Nintendo, with a version coming out a few years later for the Game Boy. The game is one of a small number of Super NES titles which supports the Super NES mouse. So if you have one of those and you're desperate to give it something to do, then this could be the game for you. The game is actually a sequel to a NES game called Vegas Dream, which was actually one of the very first Nintendo games to be marketed to adults in the US. The basic premise of the game is that the player has gone to Las Vegas with friends in an attempt to gamble with $1,000, with the goal being to try to win $10 million. The cool thing is that this game doesn't just go with you picking a gambling game and then boom, you've won, blah, you've lost. No, it actually has some pretty darn good presentation. It has an intro featuring characters and a story, and it has a certain charm about it which comes from the way in which this is presented. Your friends are seen as text talking character portraits which have as realistic as a SNES could manage look to them. You see all of them at the start during the intro with them discussing their own money winning dreams. Then you book yourself into the hotel. It's at this point that you actually get to pick one of them to go into the casino alongside you as a sort of wingman. There are 5 casinos in the game, starting with a basic joint called the Hideaway, up to a very exclusive establishment which requires that you have 100,000 just to be allowed in. Each one of the casinos has both a minimum and a maximum betting amount, so you have to pick the joint which best reflects the kind of money you have and the sort of amounts you're planning on gambling with currently. On the plus side, each and every one of these places has its very own visual design and background music which gives it its very own feel, but the bad part is that unfortunately you'll find the same 5 games in every single one of the casinos, which is a real shame. It would have been a nice little touch to see an extra game become unlocked in a higher stakes casino. So in this review so far, I've basically talked about who made the game and the presentation, but what about the actual gameplay? What casino games actually make up the bread and butter of this title? Well, the 5 games you will be playing are blackjack, slots, roulette, craps and poker. They all work well enough, but what you're going to get out of them largely depends on your knowledge of them and your love or hate for them. You do get rule lists and you can ask your current companion for advice, which sometimes helps, but if you're a bit of a casino novice, which I am, you still might find yourself struggling a bit. I wouldn't recommend this as a game to teach you how to play. This is probably why I spent most of my time with blackjack, slots and roulette, because I never have been very good at understanding all the subtleties of poker. Something I found really unusual and cool in this game was the fact that strangers approach you and ask for money for various reasons, sometimes giving you what I would describe as a sob story, and it's up to you to decide if you want to help them or not. Now, if you help, you might end up profiting from it, or you might end up being conned as they run off with your cash never to be seen again. So this is a sort of 6th form of gambling in the game, and I personally found it a rather cool touch. So what do I think of Vegas Stakes overall? Well, it's hard to judge it when it's on the same machine which offers us games like Zelda, A Link to the Past and Mario World. The graphics are clean and inviting, and the game has excellent presentation, but just being able to play 5 gambling games doesn't feel quite in depth enough. If I had paid full price for this on release, I would have felt rather disappointed, but I also couldn't call it a bad game. I think I need to give this game 6 out of 10. There is a lot right here. If you are interested, then don't go spending too much. You can probably get things like this much cheaper on more modern platforms, but I do have to have a certain amount of respect for this game. It really was so much more than I thought it would be when I purchased it. I'd probably, instead of getting something like this, if you have a DS kicking around, I would get 52 all-time classics, as I think that offers a lot more games and it kind of teaches you how to play them more. Yes, it doesn't have the presentation of this game, but I think it's a better product overall. Okay, that's Kerr9000 signing off saying keep on gaming.